Now get on your feet and make it loud for your Toronto Rock! Starting with the goaltenders, number 35, Brendan Miller. Number 66, Rosie Nick Rose. Number 4, Jesse Gamble. Number 5, Sandy Chapman. Number 6, Kieran McCardle. Number 11, Brett Hickey. Number 17, Stefan LeBlanc. Number 20, Bradley Cree. Number 23, Shalyn Rogers. Number 26, how about Tom Schreiber? Number 33, give it up for Boom Casey Beers. Number 37, the captain, Brody Merrill. Number 41, Dan Lindner. Number 44, Jeff Gilbert. Number 45, Damon Edwards. Number 82, Jordan Magnuson. Number 91, Billy Hostrouser. Number 93, Latrell Harris. And number 97, Reed Reinhold. Matty Sawyer, assisted by Blaine Manning, Bruce Codd, and Patty Campbell. Ladies and gentlemen, here are your officials for tonight's game. The crew chief is Mark Gardonio, the assistant referee is Ian Garrison and Ryan Fowler, and the shot clock operator is Ryan Wilson. Fans, please rise, remove your hats, and welcome the Rock Zone's Scotty Newlands for the singing of our national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright gold banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Oh, it's playoff time, lacrosse fans. Get ready. The East semifinal moments away between the Toronto Rock and the New England Black Wolves. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. Shanny, the Air Canada Center, is buzzing. It's that time of year, buddy. It feels good.
Yeah, especially after the Rock had such a poor season last year to rebound so quickly to take second place just ahead of this New England team. As it was a great turnaround, and GM Jamie Dawick, owner and GM, plus the coaches did a great job of turning this team around. And a lot of great additions. I think probably one of the best moves was picking up a couple of Americans, Tom Schreiber and Kieran McArdle.
That's right. The American experiment, Captain America, Tom Schreiber and Kieran McArdle. What a year they have had. Schreiber leading the Rock and all rookies in scoring with 94 points, 7th overall in the NLL. But the man, we see him on the screen right there, Shanny, Nick Rose, leading the league in goals against average. Struggled a little bit down the stretch, but overall, what a 2017.
Yeah, you know what? He was a big part of the reason this team had to come back. You're right. Hasn't been at his best the last few games, but that wasn't just him. That was the team struggled a little bit, played sloppy. They may have turned it around in the fourth quarter last week. They're open, outscored Buffalo 7-0 in the fourth quarter to win that game, 19-15 to take second place and to get this home playoff game.
And we have two of the best face-off men in the business going toe-to-toe. Bradley Cree back from injury for a couple weeks, and Jay Thornbert. Thornbert, 57.5% wins in the face-off circle. Cree at 59.2%. And Shanny, we can't overlook the fact that the New England Black Wolves have beaten the Toronto Rock in both their meetings, each time by just one goal. The first meeting 10-9 in overtime, and then 15-14. And in both those cases, Evan Kirk was a big reason why.
Yeah, he sure was. Toronto outshot them both games. The overtime game was a great game. We did that one here. But the last one probably wasn't as close as the final score indicated, 15-14. But the Rock scored some late goals to almost make the comeback. But New England has to be happy with the way they played Toronto Rock this year.
You can follow along on Twitter as well, at NLL, at SPD Shanny, myself at AndyMC81, and use the hashtag NE versus TOR to join the conversation. All right. They're lining up. Cree, Thornbert. The ball is down. The East semifinal is set. And here we go. Thornbert wins the draw straight away. New England in their white, orange, and black uniforms. Rock in blue, red, and white. One of the keys, we talked to Rock head coach Matt Sawyer before the game, Shanny. He said simple, be fast. Fast and efficient.
Yes, every aspect of the game. Be fast to get to the loose balls.
And New England has an extra man.
Out.
Yeah.
Look at this.
And doesn't seem to be a penalty.
No, they're just trying to mix up the offense a bit. They
talk about playing fast. Right on, and Rose slides over to the left post.
Goaltender Evan Kirk came out for a sixth player, but then they quickly put a guy back just to throw off the defense.
Yeah, a little razzle-dazzle by the Black Wolves early. And Glenn Clark said, again, it's about being technically sound. And how close these two teams have been this season, it's going to come down to a mistake or two, Shane.
Yeah, I think from New England's perspective, their offense was great all year. Sometimes the defense struggled.
And they have Sean Evans, 5th straight season at 100 points or more. What a specimen he is. And you have big Kevin Crowley after him in scoring for the Black Wolves. And some rookies, too. Glenn Clark was telling us about the rookie class that he's been impressed with this year, and Oaks, Spanger, and Muir. And right along that crease line, Rose diving down and flailing makes the stop. Damon Edwards takes the outlet pass. A minute and a half has expired so far. This is a one-and-done East semifinal. So whoever wins will go and face the Georgia Swarm in the East final. Littner gives to the left side. Tom Schreiber. Schreiber trying to center up, being pushed back. Puts his shoulder down. Schreiber with a bouncer. Great stop by Kirk. Rebound, it's loose. And the Black Wolves pick it up. Burns now chugging over center. Sheldon Burns led all defenders in goal scoring for New England this season.
He scored the winning overtime goal against Toronto when they played here back in March.
And there's Crowley. Sidearm whip. Whoa, that's a rocket. That was by Chad Culp. Big rebound, though. Toronto come back the other way. There's Brody Merrill, the captain. Brody Merrill shot and stoned by Evan Kirk. And the Rock pressing now. Casey Beard scores! Boom, boom! 1-0 Toronto.
Not your typical Casey Barron's goal from outside, but it was very typical in the way he takes the shot as soon as he gets it.
You're right, Shanny. Usually he's out the back door along that crease line. Planted that foot, buries it.
Yeah, that's his usual office, just along the crease. One-timers, quick sticks.
So Toronto out to an early lead here. Every possession, every minute, so important in this single game elimination. New England now pressing. One for the one time. And that was to Kyle Buchanan. Both Buchanans on this team, both Kyle and Kevin, have had career seasons in goals and points. John Rogers back from the disabled list. Stephen LeBlanc. Oh, what footwork by LeBlanc. A little soft shoe staying out of the crease, keeping the play alive. Kieran McCardle, drop tie to LeBlanc. 8 to shoot. Ball got redirected on the way to the goal. There's Zach Reed. Snap pass, clicks.
Yeah, you mentioned the Buchanans. This is Kevin Buchanan with the ball. He scored 4 goals the last time they played here. Buchanan. He's feasted on the Rock throughout his career.
Yeah, oh, you're right. Oh, swim move. Gorgeous drop back. Couldn't get the shot away, though. Riley O'Connor had an open look, but couldn't corral it in smooth enough. What a draw in and fake out by Buchanan. It was O'Connor again. Backing his way in, so physical. A nice save by Rose. And Glenn Clark was telling us of the Black Wolves, Shaney, that O'Connor does a lot of things that don't get a lot of notice. Setting picks, being physical.
Yeah, a lot of things that endear him to the coaches.
Oh, and Littner turned inside out there as he was trying to make his way towards Evan Kirk. Rumbling up the floor are the Black Wolves. There's Coyle. Coyle swerving. Hooks it back to Burns, and he'll get rid of it and head to the bench. Shots 5-3 in favor of the visitors. There's Culp on the right wing. O'Connor trying to set the pick. Behind the back pass, couldn't find its mark. 4 to shoot for New England. Loose ball scramble. Cree is down, along with O'Connor. Shot clock violation, Rock possession here. There's Schreiber. Kieran McCardle diving around. Kirk read it well, though. There's Brett Hickey. 45 goals on the year for Hickey. Led the team in goals. Hickey pushed out to the neutral zone. The white rally rags flailing around at the ACC. Schreiber, 13 on the shot clock. Pushes it back out to the right side. There's McCardle. Oh, nice maneuver in there. And that went off the face mask of Evan Kirk as he makes the save. Both goaltenders have been sensational early.
We haven't seen the ball at Sean Evans' stick yet this game. Until now.
Until right now, that's right, on the left side. Evans' ball redirected. Rose fields it long, looping outlet pass. Caught him in stride. Edwards alone scores! Damon Edwards makes it 2.
And a big assist to Nick Rose. He scored 2 goals and 8 assists this year for the Rock. Gets his first point in the playoffs. And this is just good transition. And that's one of the things Glenn Clark said they are concerned about with the Toronto Rock, their transition game.
Well, the offensive playmaking ability, no joke, Nick Rose, right? It was like a quarterback leading a receiver and catching him in stride. So 2-0 Toronto here, 9:16 left in the first quarter. And Toronto with all the momentum right now. Rogers along the crease, and Kirk throwing up that elbow. And we will take our first break. What a opening 6 minutes of this game. 2-0 Toronto leads New England. You're watching.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Just click. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Back at the Air Canada Centre here, Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. 2-0 Rock lead with 9:05 left in the first quarter. East semifinal. Winner advances, loser goes home. As plays blown back in here. And Shandy, quite a start for the Rock.
Yeah, so far, Nick Rose has been playing the way he played early in the season.
And loose ball scramble. It will be Rock possession coming out of that scrum.
It's a very aggressive defense by Toronto.
And both head coaches said it will come down being technically sound. Who makes the fewest mistakes? It sounds cliche, Shanny, but in this case, with these two teams being so close, really it could come down to 1 or 2 mental errors. There's Brett Hickey, gives to Schreiber on the left wing. Schreiber tries to set up Schreiber. The 3-quarter whip wide.
Excellent shot, excellent save.
And Schreiber dumps to the lane and over the top sidearm skip. What a stop by Evan Kirk on Reed Reinhold.
Yeah, those are a couple of big saves by last year's goalie of the year.
Yeah. What a nice year Evan Kirk has had. He's performed well against this Toronto Rock team.
Yeah, I think some of his best lacrosse this year has been against Toronto.
Under 8 minutes in the first, there's Culp, left side, kicks it back to the point. That ball got redirected off the backboards. Toronto came up with it. There's Magnuson, a 2-on-1 for a moment. Magnuson, and the pass just behind Stefan LeBlanc. And it'll be New England ball back the other way. Quickly now, here's O'Connor directing traffic on the right side. Pick set, over the top, scores! Excellently executed. O'Connor scores, making it 2-1 Toronto.
Yeah, really nice play. Looked like it started as an odd man rush. Toronto got enough players back, and O'Connor just comes up around the pick and shoots through the screen. That's an excellent shot from that spot. That's a great shot, short side bouncer.
And O'Connor directed the whole thing. He told Sons, go there, and it worked.
Yes.
19th goal of the year for Riley O'Connor. Toronto coming right back. Up by 1, going at Kirk. And that's where the Rock got in some trouble themselves the other way, Shanny, a few times this year, where they scored a goal, then let one up immediately. Evan Kirk making sure that does not happen for New England. Black Wolves trying to pressure in. Rogers gets around and scores! Whoa, and Kevin Crowley using that size, 6'5", and muscle past Rogers to tie it up.
Yeah, this is just a mismatch defensively. Crowley, we saw Crowley walk around Brody Merrill early in the year. Here he goes on the rookie, Challen Rogers, and just, as you said, just out-muscled him, forced his way to the net. The nice finish, suddenly 2-2.
And Shandy, but like Rogers is not a small guy. He's 6'4", 220 himself. That was Crowley just wanting it more. So Crowley tied it up, and just when you think the Rock have all the momentum, we're all knotted at 2.
Yeah, that's amazing. He standing up against him, it looked like he was that much bigger than Rogers. And yeah, you're right, Rogers, 6'4".
Little fake, put the left side for Schreiber. Such great footwork, scores! Captain America delivers and gives Toronto a 3-2 lead.
And that's got to be about his third or fourth shot this game, and they've all been similar. On the run, just steps around a guy. And that one, it looks like, yeah, look at Kirk. It looks like he didn't even see that shot.
Schreiber has the ability, Shanny, to just drop his stick at any angle and get just as much power behind it. The
yeah,
whip.
you know what I like about that shot? It's not a big windup. It's almost more of a snap of a wrist. Like compared in hockey to a snapshot. That's
right.
Lacrosse's snapshot.
Kirk trying to interfere, and New England coming back. And the evolution and development of Schreiber this season from being a tentative shooter and a playmaker evolving
Yeah, he's
into
not
what he's
tentative
become.
any longer. Toronto's going to get a penalty here. I don't know if it was.
Extra man on, and they won't actually go to the power play because with the extra attacker on, the Black Wolves score, and we're back and tied up at 3.
Yeah, 6-on-5 play. Kyle Buchanan scores his first playoff goal of the season. Watch, he just sneaks down the middle.
Nice little fake.
You know, yep. Sandy Chapman looked the other way for a second. He was looking to see what was happening in the back door, and Kyle Buchanan just squeezed in for a second.
For Kyle, set career highs in goals at 31 and points at 69 this season. So 6:06 to go in the first quarter. Nice little back and forth we have going on. Crowley. Oh, was trying to kick it back, and it bounced into the mesh of Nick Rose. Jesse Gamble there. Gives to Brett Hickey. Streaming in. Hickey, and he's chopped and rolls into the crease. Now Bucktooth sprinting up the floor. Bucktooth. Wow.
Oh my.
Look at that angle by Brett Bucktooth. I hope we get to see that again, Shanny. That was gorgeous.
You know, I'm thinking, why is he shooting from there, from that angle, on the wrong side of the floor, and he puts it in.
Look at the torque. Look.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one, though, I think
dirty.
Rose would like to have back. But still, a great shot from, you know, Brett Bucktooth came into this league many years ago as an offensive superstar and has since turned into a defender.
Yeah.
But every now and again,
He reminds you.
we see, he reminds us of what he did at one point.
That was highlight reel there. All right, so the Black Wolves have their first lead of the game after Toronto jumped out to a 2-0 head start. Dan Littner, left side, Littner from far out. Big rebound, but Kirk was able to swat it down. And no Rock player was there for the rebound. There's Evans. Evans stumbling back, was it pushed into the crease?
Yep.
And that will take us to our second break. New England is taking the lead 4-3 on Toronto. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
He's got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Action back underway here at the ACC. 4:49 to go in the first quarter. New England now up 4-3 on the Toronto Rock at the Air Canada Centre. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. Rock pressing, and it was meant for Casey Bierns on the left side off the tip of his stick. Bierns was able to get it back over to Stephen LeBlanc the other way. And slithering over was Kirk, and he got it. Shots 13-9 in favor of Toronto. There's Bucktooth, who scored just a gorgeous goal a few minutes ago. There's Buchanan. And New England trying to build on that lead. Wide open. That was a laser. Kevin Buchanan was off the post, and now the Rock back the other way. Damon Edwards trying to capitalize. He had one tonight. Went high. Shanny, you don't get too much harder a shot than that one by Buchanan.
Yeah, I think Rose got a piece of it. Went off Rose and off the post.
Man.
And wide.
That's why you wear equipment, folks. Kick back to the point. Rock to Schreiber. And scars! Schreiber! The velocity. Put all his 200-plus pounds behind that as it went off of Kirk and trickled in.
Well, I mentioned how Rose might like the Bucktooth one back. I think Kirk wants this one back. It's always a bad feeling when a goalie looks behind him.
Yeah.
But again, the quick release. Schreiber gets that ball, quick shot.
Look, Shanny, typically something of that speed, of that power, it requires a bigger windup. So it's disorienting, I would guess, a little bit for a goalie when it comes out with not that big of a windup.
Yeah, and the fact that the pass goes east to west to Schreiber,
right.
The goalie is moving, doesn't really have a lot of time to set up before Schreiber's already putting that on the net.
Second of the night for Schreiber. The rookie out of New York. Never played box lacrosse before this season. And went for a bouncer, did New England. Wide, the Black Wolves will call, bring it back in.
And I think anyone who follows the NLL is in agreement that the Rookie of the Year this year, no discussion is needed. Schreiber's winning it.
No. Leads the Rock in points. Leads all rookies in points. Back out to Hickey on the left wing. 8 on the shot clock. Down to the goal line and swinging back to Bierns. It was off the mark. And Manny's able to corral it in. Flicks with O'Connor. Gonna make that O'Brien. In stride and scores. Wow. Right off the bench. Crowley got in before the defender could get over to him. Spinning.
Again, this is another goal where the right shooter is coming well across to the other side. Generally, you don't want to be shooting from there because you're taking your own angle away. And then we're having a goalie switch here.
Really? All right.
And now, don't be surprised if this is not permanent.
Brandon Miller in. And you saw that from Crowley. And such an interesting player is Crowley, Shannon, because we talked about the size, how he can bully his way in, but then you can show some finesse like he did right there, too.
Well, that's 2 goals, as I said. 2 goals, guys shooting on the wrong side of the floor, and I don't know if it's just a little misjudgment from Nick Rose, but they're also excellent shots. You mentioned the Bucktooth goal.
2 minutes to go in the first. Trying to get to Brandon Miller early is New England, and Miller had a look behind him. Got just enough of it, though.
You know, the good news, though, is Brandon Miller came in last week against Buffalo and played great.
Yeah. There's Littner. Some speed, spinning. Brought back now, double, triple team. And he was squashed. Still got a quality chance away. Good save, though, by Kirk. There's the Black Wolves. Spanger. One of the rookies Coach Glenn Clark was raving about to us before the game. There's Buchanan. Kevin had some space. And Miller cut down that angle. New England got it off the backboards, though. Over to Buchanan again. Off the tip of his stick. He grabs it before it goes over and back. Flicks with O'Connor. Buchanan from the point. Just over a minute to go. Crowley has Brody Merrill on him. Pass wide, loose ball. Crowley can't scoop it up. Brody Merrill does. Last minute of play in the quarter. Can the Rock get one more before the quarter ends? There's Edwards. Edwards plants that foot high, scores! Top shelf! Damon Edwards, second of the night. We're tied at 5.
This is just an excellent shot by Damon Edwards, who's had a great season for the Toronto Rock. And he just steps out from long distance, but he picks the corner perfectly. And, you know, we spoke to Coach Matt Sawyer about some of the decisions to take outside shots that sometimes have led to transition the other way. And he says, all our guys have the green light. They just have to hit the net. I think a few weeks ago I was critical of, got 2 balls on the floor there. I was critical of Toronto. I think it was Jesse Gamble took a long shot, went high and wide, and the coach said nothing wrong with the shot.
Oh
my gosh,
nothing wrong with that shot either. Jack Hall, right outside, very similar to Damon Edwards, and pops it past Brandon Miller. So once again, the Black Wolves have retaken the lead 6-5 with 31 seconds remaining in the first.
And to continue on my thought, the coaches have no problems with long shots if you get them on net. And they love it when you pick a corner.
And Jack Hall, a wily veteran, does it. Man, 6-5. What a game we have. And we're only 1 quarter in. Magnuson taking the draw for Toronto up against Thornbert. Scooped up. The Rock have it. And looks like a timeout called by Toronto. So 17-14 shots in favor of the Rock. And Shanny, this has been what a start. Yeah, Toronto off to a 2-0 lead, and then New England now battling back and going back and forth, really taking leads and then having it tied up.
Yeah, you know, we're on pace for a 21-20 game for somebody. I would say though, I think that's not the style Toronto wants to play. Toronto's been successful this year playing shutdown defense,
right?
And, you know, getting good goaltending. And I would also think, on the other hand, that New England would be more comfortable in a run-and-gun game. And, you know, in all these goals, 6 goals, Sean Evans doesn't have a point yet.
And that's what you have to keep an eye on for New England. All this without Sean Evans having a point. You know he's going to get his. As I said earlier, a 5th straight 100-point season for Sean Evans. Hit the 1,000 career point mark this season as well. 18 seconds, Stephen LeBlanc with the ball as he looks up. Shot clock is dead, and they'll wait for one last drive. 8 seconds, and now they start moving. Hickey over to Schreiber. Everybody's in motion. 4 seconds, alone, Kirk, and on LeBlanc. That'll bring an end to the first quarter. LeBlanc stoned by Kirk. Shanny, that got everything Toronto wanted, except they forgot about Evan Kirk.
Yeah, you know what? And LeBlanc, you said it was wide open down the middle, but it looks like it just wasn't able to pick a corner. Just went for the pad, didn't put a move on it. I think he might have had a couple more seconds than he realized.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for the first quarter. We'll take a quick break. 6-5, Black Wolves lead the Rock in the East semifinal. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday, there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears, you name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check. And the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds, we lost countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
back here at the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. Second quarter set to start up. The New England Black Wolves lead 6-5 on the Rock in the East semifinal. Winner advances to the East final. Loser goes home. Single elimination. Rock out to a 2-0 lead to start the game. And New England has battled back. Also a goaltending change. Shanny. Nick Rose out. Brandon Miller in for Toronto.
Yeah, and it looks like Brandon Miller is still in the pipes.
Rock coming off the bench. Behind the back. Beautiful kick. And Evan Kirk fell back in his net. A nifty setup there.
Yeah, that shot went off the post, and you said it. Evan Kirk had fallen down. I'm actually surprised the last pass was made.
New England in their white, orange, and black uniforms. Toronto blue, red, and white jerseys. Alone, and Miller got just enough on Kevin Crowley, who's already looking for the hat trick tonight. $20 on the shot clock. Lots of time for the Black Wolves here. Oh, in behind Culp, and that would be over and back.
He had no stick. He had no stick. His teammate didn't realize it.
Rolling the dice, and it is stopped by Kirk. And that was right on. New England. Evans has the ball knocked away. There's Challen Rogers. Snap pass, clicks, over to Merrill. Can't connect.
Yeah, that was a nice steal by the rookie Latrell Harris. Had a great regular season for the Toronto Rock.
Yeah. They're 19 years old. There's Muir. Bounce pass, connects. Moving the ball very well is New England around the perimeter. There's Buchanan. Kyle Buchanan with a sidearm hurl, and Miller stops it, but
that was
rebound
a big,
goes
long
right back.
rebound.
Another save. However, it's a fresh 30 again for the Black Wolves. One more time, and another save by Miller. Rolls over after making that stop. There's Magnuson.
3 big shots. Toronto was able to control the third rebound.
Schreiber flicks with Reinhold. Over to McCardle. Toronto working the ball around, now trying to press in. Miller coming out. It will be a penalty to the Black Wolves. So extra tacker coming on. Bouncer into Kirk, and the whistle blows. And we'll have our first served penalty of the game. And Hickey having a conversation.
That's Hickey and Bill O'Brien, big Bill O'Brien.
Hickey not happy.
And I think that's O'Brien going to the penalty box.
New England penalty number 96, 2 minutes checking from behind.
Checking from behind to, yep, Bill O'Brien.
And he put Hickey down on the floor, and watching the center of your screen there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Hickey was crunched. Now, special teams very interesting here. Toronto's power play ranked 8th, but they've given up the most shorthanded goals, and New England has scored the most shorthanded goals. Swing and a miss by Reinhold, who was right in position at the top of the crease. Hickey got it back, though. Over to LeBlanc. Toronto pinching. Here's Schreiber along that goal line, and Kirk hustling over to cut down that angle. Rock get it back, though. Reinhold. Stefan LeBlanc, bounce pass on the back and going. Kirk, great angle coverage there. Toronto not really getting any traffic in front of Kirk. He's seeing everything here. 20 seconds. Reinhold along the other way. It went 5-hole, and Kirk
is seeing the ball well.
Yeah, really well. And although now LeBlanc, and that ball got tied up in the defender, swatted away into the corner.
And one of the defenders without a stick. Wasn't sure if he should go for it or not.
And a little soft touch by Toronto on Casey Behrens. Couldn't get it free, though, and several huge stops by Evan Kirk. Whoa, and that ball got redirected and into the platinum down the other end of the floor.
I thought that one was going to hit the Jumbotron.
So did I.
Well, he knew that he was running out of time, and you got that 8-second clock.
I went quite high, but the Rock get it back. 39 seconds left on the power play for Toronto. New England's penalty kill is ranked 4th. Rock coming in, and scores! A bouncer. Kirk got a piece of it, and Brett Hickey will score.
And it seems to be the case whenever Toronto's power play is struggling, give the ball to Hickey and let him take a shot. We talk about it all the time. He's comfortable with the overhand, the sidearm, the underhand. This one, he goes overhand, a bouncer. Even though Kirk did get a piece of it, he overpowered him.
Led the Rock in goals scored this season, 45 in his first of the playoffs here. So now we're all tied up at 6. Rock looking for more. Brody Merrill scores! The captain! Brody Merrill sprinting down the floor, and Toronto has the lead again.
Well, the importance of face-offs. Coach Sawyer said you got to be quick. They got the ball quick. And Brody Merrill, one of the best at picking up loose balls, drives to the net, scores a big goal for Toronto to take their lead back.
And Shanny, usually we've seen this season Merrill hesitant, looking to pass first. He made no hesitation there.
Yeah, that's generally his style. Look for the pass. But yeah, there was no other play to be made there. That was the right play.
10:27 to go in the first half. Toronto has retaken the lead. Now up 7-6. So that's a power play goal for the Rock with Hickey, and then followed up by Brody Merrill. Kyle Buchanan. Whoa! Got rid of him. That ball sails into the first row on the near corner. It will be Black Wolves ball, Sean Evans. And how long can the Rock defense keep him under wraps? Evans winding his way, weaving, planting, and couldn't connect. It was just wide. Toronto rumbling up the floor.
It wasn't under wraps there. He found his way to the net, just wasn't able to get the best shot away.
And now we're starting to see Evans with some chances. He's starting to warm up. Here, McCardle. That was a hard offering. It was wide, and the Black Wolves were able to haul it in. There's Bucktooth. He's already has one tonight. Bucktooth going the other way, and Miller hugging it into his logo.
Yeah, and it looks like, watching Bucktooth shoot from there, it looks like they've got the green light as well.
Magnuson, fooled the Black Wolves and Schreiber on that pass. Toronto got it back though.
Oh, a 3-on-2 was a good idea. The pass just wasn't executed well.
Reinhold looking for a lane. Center up, finds nothing, puts it to the weak side. There's Tom Schreiber, little bouncer as the shot clock hits 0. And we'll take our first break of the quarter. The Rock have retaken the lead, now up 7-6 on the Black Wolves. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV. tripping, it looked like. So the captain who scored the go-ahead goal will sit for 2 or less.
There's the penalty.
And let's see what New England can do here. Their power play ranked 8th in the NLL. Toronto's penalty kill dead last.
Well,
and went for the one-touch
they
behind
like
the
to
net.
do. They like to put Kyle Buchanan behind the net like they just did. He's great at getting the behind the net dunks.
Yeah. Over and back call, so Toronto will be able to kill some time here. Minute 35 left with the man advantage for New England. Stephen LeBlanc will take a walk in the neutral zone, no rush. 10 on the shot clock. Now they'll try something. There's Schreiber from the outside. Schreiber, nice little swim move. Schreiber with a bouncer, kick save by Kirk. That's a fresh 30, and the ball is up high. And catching that fly ball is New England. And LeBlanc getting the axe out on O'Brien. And it's a Toronto turnover. The Rock back the other way and almost sent back the other way again. There's Rogers now.
Well, great effort by LeBlanc to put some pressure on the defenders. Looked a little uncomfortable with the ball along the boards. Toronto got that ball back for another huge 30-second kill.
39 seconds on the power play still for New England, but Toronto with possession. Reinhold bouncing around like a pinball. One-handed shot, and that went right into the golds here at the Air Canada Centre. A lot of oomph with that one-hander. Kevin Crowley and Evans on the floor together. 19 seconds, the man advantage. Ball got redirected and gloved by Miller. Long pass, a Hail Mary taken in stride.
Oh, and that could have turned into a suicide play. The rookie Muir stepped onto the floor, and a good thing Damon Edwards had a look.
Yeah. So we're back to even strength. Captain Brody Merrill back on the floor. Kieran McCardle. Whoa, McCardle crunched. As much as we talk about the year Tom Schreiber's had, Kieran McCardle also quite the impressive campaign. 36 points in 14 games. And Evans coming back the other way. Great stop by Miller. Have a nice little track meet going here. Rock.
4-on-3.
And Gamble, Jesse Gamble scores! Number 4 rolls the dice and gives Toronto a 2-goal lead. Jesse Gamble.
And good recognition by Gamble, where it looked for a second like this was going to become a settled play. He realized they had 4 guys. New England only had 3, so he drove to the net.
Went airborne.
He did.
Elevation by Jesse Gamble. You gotta love Jesse Gamble. Shanny listed at 5'9". Might be a little generous in the height department, but he plays like he's 6'6".
Big heart, but he's also strong.
Yeah. 5:44 left in the second quarter. And Toronto diving. Extra hustle, nearly a turnover there. Challen Rogers. And some pushing and shoving here in the referee's circle. Latrell Harris and Cree in on it.
The New England call for not getting the ball over half within 8 seconds.
So Toronto possession. And the Rock really pushing here. Crease violation as Hickey went for it. Now New England trying to catch Toronto on the transition. Buchanan behind the back pass. Fed along the goal line and just couldn't get the toe on the tic-tac off the bat. That was great. And just too high for Brett Hickey.
Well, both teams are getting a little sloppy here.
The time ticking down in the first half. Stephen LeBlanc sidestepping his way on the right wing. LeBlanc spinning. Gives it to the left, and Littner's shot went right into the belly of Joel Coyle.
Huge rebound and a fresh 30-second clock for the Toronto Rock.
Reed Reinhold. Reinhold cuts. Dump pass to LeBlanc. Plays that foot wide. Three-quarter delivery over and back will be New England ball. And we'll take our second break of the quarter. It is a wild one here. The Air Canada Centre Rock lead the Black Wolves 8-6. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
This past NLL season was incredible. It was exciting. It was jam-packed with amazing goals.
Here's Miles Thompson, puts it back and scores!
Incredible saves.
Carlson with absolute robbery on...
And huge games.
And he ends it! Vancouver is going home for the playoffs!
And if you don't have your subscription to NLLTV.com, you're going to miss out on all of that action during the 2018 season. And can you imagine if your group of friends is sitting there talking about the greatest plays from the night before and you're the only one to not have your subscription? You're going to be missing out.
Don't be that person. Make sure to head on over to the NLL website to get your subscription today to make sure, well, you're part of that conversation and also to make sure that you don't miss a minute of 2018.
I've got mine. She's got hers. Get yours today.
If you're a player looking for a lightweight head that delivers power and control, string up the Under Armour Command Low.
That's stretching.
Action back underway at the ACC 4:20 to go in the first half. Toronto leads 8-6. Whoa, it was almost 8-7 there. Saved by Steele was Toronto. The Rock racing down the floor. To Brody Merrill. Merrill looking for his second of the night. Kirk got just enough. The captain buzzing here. He dumps it. He'll head to the bench. Shots 30-24 in favor of the home team. East semifinal single elimination game. Georgia Swarm scouts in the house tonight. Dan Ladouceur and company scouting these two teams. They'll face the winner. Schreiber jumping. And Kirk up to it.
And
both goals have been
penalty
great.
Coming.
It'll be on New England. Zach Reed, it looks like.
Yeah.
Number 17, 2 minutes, illegal cross-check.
All right, illegal cross-check. The Rock will head to the power play. Brett Hickey scored the last time they had the man advantage. Oh, right in front of the official there, yeah.
1 for 1 on their power plays.
Rock starting to tighten that square, switching positions. Underhand whip by Hickey. A riser. Great positioning by Kirk. Now it's New England's turn to try to run down some clock here. Bucktooth. That was Sutton's. Now there's O'Connor. Cross floor pass finds its way. Whoa, just making himself invisible there was Kevin Buchanan. Went past 3 defenders, now he's crunched. Whoa, Latrell Harris.
Well, Latrell Harris giving it to Sean Evans, and referee's opinion, giving it a bit too much. Evans gets the ball back.
Latrell Harris, thick, 6 feet, 215.
They're going to want to help when Sean Evans is going one-on-one.
Yeah.
He's not a big guy, but he's one of the best one-on-one players.
Latrell Harris punishing the veteran. Just the 8th NLL player in history to get 1,000 career points. Evans taking a beating, 1-2, as the clock wears down on the power play. 50 seconds left, and Sean Evans no worse for wear. What a warrior off the bench, the Rock scores! Right off the bench in transition, and it is Brett Hickey again on the power play.
Well, not your typical power play goal. It's a breakaway You know what, though? Give a lot of credit to Latrell Harris for the job on Sean Evans. You know, they got that ball loose, him and Bradley Cree.
Yeah.
Cree picks up the ball, throws it up to Hickey, but, you know, sometimes that punishment can be accumulative. Sean Evans, he might not show it there, but you don't want your star players taking a pounding all game, and he took a pounding.
Especially this early in the second quarter. So that's the 18th power play goal of the year for Brett Hickey to go along with 47 total in 2017.
Well, we're starting fresh now.
Yeah. You combine all of them. 2 minutes even to go in the first half. And there's another break here. Brody Merrill, one-on-one Merrill. Went high, wide side. And Kirk shut it down. Whoa. That ball got knuckled on Kirk out of his stick there. There's Kevin Crowley. New England being pushed back. There's Buchanan, the left wing.
Going to want to score a goal before this half is over.
3 seconds left, and Sean Evans.
They've been outscored 4-0 this quarter.
And a minute 16 to go in the half. There's Jesse Gamble. Has one himself this evening. The Go Rock Go chant coming out. A raucous crowd here at the Air Canada Centre. Stephen LeBlanc beats the left side. Oh, off the crossbar. And the Rock get it back. Fresh 30. Last minute of play in the half. Stephen LeBlanc does that patented swim move. Pushes. Swing and a miss. Whoa, and Dan Lettner was turned inside out there by Thornburg. He's kind of swung around there. Intercepted. Lettner. And he couldn't get it cleanly. Kirk swipes at it. And it'll be rock ball. It's an 8-second violation.
And let's see if the Rock decide to go straight for the net or eat up most of the clock. There's 36 seconds to go when they got the ball, so they can't eat up the rest of the quarter, but they'll probably want to do most of it. And New England, if they get the ball back, they'll likely call a timeout immediately.
9 to shoot. And now 12 on the game clock. Plants, whoa, right into the feet of Evan Kirk. And with 6 seconds left, New England does call a timeout, but Shanny, that Evan Kirk did not know where that ball was.
Yeah, never a good feeling, as I said, when the goalie has to turn around to find the ball.
In his feet, and he almost turned and knocked it in.
And he's been lucky in a few, like that earlier shot hit the crossbar, hit his back, did not bounce in. And that one there, if it had the wrong spin, it might have been going in.
Shanny, looking ahead to the second half for Toronto. Do you stick with Brandon Miller here?
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, he's only allowed one goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question. You know, it's interesting. We talked earlier in the week about, you know, the way Brandon Miller played last week, that the Rock may want to consider at least having that conversation about who starts. But I spoke to GM Jamie Dawick earlier in the week, and he said, no, they're definitely going with Nick Rose. He's the guy who's got them there. But he did say, you know, we have full confidence in Brandon Miller if we have to make a change. And that's why they have him. And so far, there's still a long way to go, but so far he's played very well. And more importantly, I think Toronto Rock responded to the change.
Sure, and the thing is, Shanny, you can't mess around in a single elimination game.
No, exactly.
Got to try to pull out all the stops. Rock with a 9-6 lead, 6 seconds to go. New England, one last try here before the second quarter. Ends right into Miller. Went for a long hopper rebound, and the clock hits 0, and we have some shoving in front of Miller. The temperature turned up.
There could be some, there's a lot of face washing going on in there. And I'd be surprised if we don't at least get a few penalties.
No surprise, Billy Hostrauser in the middle of it?
No.
What a first half, Shanny. Before we go to break, the start was all Toronto 2-0. We saw some great saves on both sides. The Black Wolves came back and took the lead, multiple lead changes, a goaltending change. And by the end of 2 quarters, Toronto's up 9-6.
Yeah, well, Toronto definitely has a momentum right now, but we know from our experience that momentum can change any minute in this game.
Oh, absolutely. Now this season, for whatever this is worth, in the regular season, when leading at the half, Toronto was 7-3. But between these two teams, both games decided by 1 goal, we've seen how dangerous New England can be and go on runs.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So with that, we will step aside, be back in about 10 to 12 minutes. The Rock leading the Black Wolves 9-6. It's the East semifinal here at the Air Canada Centre. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Welcome, lacrosse fans. Tyson Geik of NLL Productions here with you right now, and I'm joined by Shay Hewen, CEO and founder of the U-Hawk Camera. We have some exciting news for you today. The NLL has officially partnered with the U-Hawk Camera, the new official action camera of the National Lacrosse League. Shay, an exciting moment, for both parties here.
Yeah, it's an incredible day. It's a big step and a big moment in the history of sports, and for the National Lacrosse League to be the first league to step up and bring actual player point of view, video footage to fans at home in the actual real raw competition in the season. It's a monumental day, and we're very excited to be the official camera provider to be a part of that.
Say what you will, but it doesn't hear you. It's unaffected by your disdain and your malice. It doesn't care about competition or tradition. It's heartless and unapologetic. It has only one job. 2,536 knitted rows, 1,604 strokes, 513 transfers. All in one piece, duplicated identically every time. This is no job for man. Leave the plane to the players, the equipment to the machines.
In 2016, the Black Wolves made their first postseason appearance since moving the franchise to New England, and it ended in a heartbreaking division final loss to the Buffalo Bandits. The team was hungry to make it to the postseason again in 2017. But this year got off to a rough start, dropping their opening game to the Nighthawks 15-8. The Black Wolves went on a 3-game losing streak on the road before returning home to face the team that ended their playoff dreams last year, the Bandits. The Black Wolves hit the floor in front of a sold-out crowd at the Mohegan Sun, and they did not want to disappoint.
And Sean Evans cans it, and there's a goal, the equalizer.
Up by 1 going into the half, New England was able to hold on with a final score of 13-12 for their first win of the season. They followed that up with a win over the Nighthawks. The Black Wolves and Bandits would then meet again for a doubleheader in Week 8, both teams fighting for the third spot in the East. New England would win Game 1, but then drop the second one 16-15. The battle in the East was tight, but New England, determined to pull away, went on a 3-game winning streak.
Point blank range, and it is over.
With wins over the Rock, the Swarm, and the Nighthawks, before the Roughnecks would put an end to their winning ways in Week 13. The next few weeks would be inconsistent. A 21-12 loss to the Georgia Swarm, followed by a 13-12 win against the Rush, becoming the first team this season to beat Saskatchewan at home. While they had opportunities to clinch a playoff spot, they weren't able to do so until the final week of the regular season, thanks to some help from the Georgia Swarm. With their win over the Nighthawks, the Black Wolves punched themselves a ticket to the playoffs. Now the question was, would they play at home or in Toronto? Standing in the way of them in a home playoff game was the Vancouver Stealth, who also had home floor on the line. It was a close back-and-forth battle that had to be decided by overtime. with Vancouver coming out on top. That meant New England would head to Toronto for round 1. You can catch the Black Wolves taking on the Rock Saturday, May 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern, all live at NLLTV.com. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
If there was a skip this ad button, you'd probably click it. If shrinking took an already great head and made it even better, you'd probably buy it. I need a coffee.
2016 was a disappointing year for the Toronto Rock after they missed the playoffs, and the team was looking to turn things around in 2017. With veteran leaders like Damon Edwards and Brett Hickey back from injury to help the new talent like Reed Reinholdt and Tom Schreiber, the team came out of the gate strong.
Brody Merrill leading the charge. Fires and scores.
Odd man rush, there you go. Bradley Cree off the draw.
Starting with a big win against the Nighthawks, followed by beating the defending champs, the Saskatchewan Rush. While they got off to a strong start, their winning ways came to an end in Week 5 when they lost to the Rochester Nighthawks. The Rock's 2017 season had some big ups, like their 18-10 win over the Buffalo Bandits, followed by some heartbreaking losses, a 13-12 OT loss to the Georgia Swarm. Just a few weeks later, the Rock would get their revenge on the Swarm with another tight battle.
LeBlanc flips it right back in the middle, and Toronto scores.
This time they would win 12-11. Toronto had plenty of chances to clinch a playoff spot, like when they faced the Bandits April 14th, but came out with a 13-8 loss. The following week, they had another chance against the Rush, but dropped that game 15-10. It all came down to the final week of the regular season for the Rock. Either a win or a Rochester loss would secure them a playoff spot. With the Nighthawks losing to the Swarm, the Rock were in the postseason. Now the question was, would they play at home or in New England? To play at the ACC, the Rock needed to beat the Bandits to close out the 2017 regular season. Toronto got off to a slow start going into the fourth quarter, down 14-12. But then they were able to turn things around.
Here's an opportunity. Edwards scores. And in front to Hickey, scores. Reinholdt scores. Score, Toronto.
7 goals in the fourth quarter, and they were able to take a 19-15 win and secure a first-round home playoff game. You can catch the Rock taking on the Black Wolves Saturday, May 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern, all live at NLLTV.com.
This past NLL season was incredible. It was exciting. It was jam-packed with amazing goals.
Here's Miles Thompson, flips it back and scores!
Incredible saves.
Carlson with absolute robbery
and huge games.
And he ends it. Vancouver is going home for the playoffs.
And if you don't have your subscription to NLLTV.com, You're going to miss out on all of that action during the 2018 season. And can you imagine if your group of friends is sitting there talking about the greatest plays from the night before and you're the only one to not have your subscription? You're going to be missing out.
Don't be that person. Make sure to head on over to the NLL website to get your subscription today to make sure, well, you're part of that conversation and also to make sure that you don't miss a minute of 2018.
I've got mine. She's got hers. Get yours today. Welcome lacrosse fans, Tyson Geik of NLL Productions here with you right now, and I'm joined by Shay Hewen, CEO and founder of the U-Hawk Camera. We have some exciting news for you today. The NLL has officially partnered with the U-Hawk Camera, the new official action camera of the National Lacrosse League. Shay, an exciting moment, for both parties here.
Yeah, it's an incredible day. It's a big step and a big moment in the history of sports, and for the National Lacrosse League to be the first league to step up and bring actual player point of view, video footage to fans at home in the actual real raw competition in the season. It's a monumental day, and we're very excited to be the official camera provider to be a part of that.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of the NLL Social Circle, where we take a look at some of the big stories happening around the league on social media this week. And this week, it is playoff edition. That is right, we're taking a look at some of the top social media stories from the teams that will be competing in the 2017 playoffs, starting off with the Toronto Rock. They are gearing up to host the New England Black Wolves in Game 1 of the East Division semifinals. And they had a chance to open up the stock markets in Toronto this week. Take a look at this video. Pretty cool. Well, the New England Black Wolves are on the hunt for a win in the first round of the playoffs, and they have some adorable fans cheering them on along the way. Just take a look at this picture of Chad Culp's son, Logan. He is ready for the game Saturday, and I absolutely love this photo. Who knew that Kevin Crowley was so good at photobombing? The Vancouver Stealth are getting ready to host another Blackout Night at the Langley Event Center, and with Blackout Night comes the return of Blackout Radio. Let's take a listen in.
The Blackout raised our roof at the LEC on Fan Appreciation Night. We shut down the Mammoth. New-doo-to-boot it.
Well, I know that the Colorado Mammoth are ready for their playoff game against the Vancouver Stealth this week, but so is their mascot, Wooly. And I hope he makes another grand entrance just like this one, where he came in like a wrecking ball. The Georgia Swarm and the Saskatchewan Rush may have bye weeks, but the teams and their fans sure are ready for the playoffs to get underway. Take a look at this picture from the Georgia Swarm at a recent lacrosse clinic. They were getting their dabs on. I love the spirit. And while there is just so many great pictures from Rush Nation, I couldn't pick my favorite. So here are a couple of them. Let's take a look. Just kidding, I was totally able to pick my favorite. It had to be this one from Cody Stranger. Why date a cheerleader when you can date Grandma Rush? I absolutely love it. Well, the playoffs get underway Saturday, May 6th. First game in Toronto as the Rock hosts the New England Black Wolves. That one underway at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we head out west where the Vancouver Stealth will host the Colorado Mammoth at 10 p.m. Eastern. You can catch both games live at NLLTV.com. That wraps up the playoff edition of this week's NLL Social Circle, but we want to see your best playoff pictures, so make sure you're tagging the NLL in all your social media posts. For NLL Productions, I'm Mia Gordon.
Scott Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot, hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Welcome back to the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. The second half just about set to get underway. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. And at the half, it's the Toronto Rock up on the New England Black Wolves 9-6 in the single elimination East semifinal. Shanny, in that first half, we saw just about everything.
Well, yeah, the first quarter was 6-5. It looked like we were going to have 20 goals by each team. Settled down for Toronto started playing some tough defense, and they made a goaltending change. And the second quarter was all theirs, but it's a long game.
And Toronto right off the bat, off of the face-off there, trying to start quickly just like they did in the first quarter, going up 2-0 early. And that's what head coach Matt Sawyer of the Rock said. He wants to, quote, be fast.
And Toronto was only 7 for 17 on the face-offs, but they scored a goal right off the face-off.
And going high and wide, and the Rock will, well, looked like they were going to get the ball back, but took an odd hop away from Reed Reinhold. Now it's New England sprinting up the floor. You can follow along on Twitter at NLL, at AndyMC81, at SBD Shanny, and join the conversation. Hashtag NE versus Tor. It is the playoffs here in the NLL. Winner faces the Georgia Swarm in the East Final next weekend. There's Buchanan. And, oh, that nearly beat Brandon Miller, who remains in goal.
Yeah, and that's not the way you want to play defense on Kevin Alexander. That was Jeff Gilbert got caught one hand, and nice shot by Kevin Buchanan.
Toronto has to try to get that ball over for the 8-second mark. Just make it. There's Littner. Snap pass to LeBlanc. Backs his way in. 8 to shoot. Ooh, pass in behind Schreiber. Schreiber tries to swat to keep it in play and does. 2 seconds left, and Littner will just pop it into the near corner as the Black Wolves will get possession.
Yeah, at that point when you miss the ball, you just want to make sure it doesn't turn into a quick transition. And Schreiber was wisely just knocked it back, making sure that New England's not coming out with numbers.
New England in their white, orange, and black uniforms. Toronto blue, red, and white. There's Culp. He scored tonight. Can't swim over the top and dumps it in. Billy Hostrauser did a good job pressing his man. Rock coming up with the loose ball. Snap pass, clicks with Magnuson. Magnuson backpedaling, winding, waiting for the offense, and he gets rid of it.
Now, Brody Merrill is so great on the ground balls. We start taking it for granted.
You're right, yeah. There's Tom Schreiber. Wow! Captain America with a rocket. 10-6 Toronto. That came out of nowhere.
And wow was the best description for this goal. Watch this. No windup at all. Just a snap.
How do you get that power?
Check it out.
A little windup.
That is a snap of the wrist, and you said it. Power, top corner. This guy is amazing.
Superpowers by Tom Schreiber. Man. 10-6 now Toronto. Hat trick for Schreiber. And the Rock now with a bit of a cushion.
And not only is he going to win Rookie of the Year, he'll be in the conversation for MVP.
You're right.
I don't believe he's going to win it. I think Lyle Thompson is going to win it, deservingly so.
Whoa, and the Black Wolves, whoa, bounce. And you saw Zach Reed get pinballed around there. Rock coming back the other way.
But Tom Schreiber has been so good that he has been the MVP for the Toronto Rock, and
right.
He's in that discussion in the league.
And looking again, trying to press. 12 on the shot clock. Schreiber with the drop to Beerns. Beerns went high, looking for that far top shelf on the glove side.
Yeah, you said it. He was trying to be too fine. He was trying to pick that corner.
Damon Edwards scored from a similar spot earlier. Going to the weak side, pushing off of Harris. There's big Kevin Crowley. He is 2 tonight. Oh, and that ball sails high, about 5 rows up.
And that was a pretty aggressive pick by Seth Opes.
One of the rookies that Coach Glenn Clark was raving to us about before the game, Buchanan, has some space. Whoa, and he wound around Cree. Miller with a tremendous save. Gilbert with the press in the far corner. Gamble on him as well. And Sean Evans is just being mangled. But what toughness, doesn't seem to faze him at all.
And Toronto, I'm not sure what Evans did while he was down there after his hit, but Toronto gets the ball back.
Brent Hickey shuffling. He has 2 power play goals tonight. This Hickey, Stephen LeBlanc on the right wing. LeBlanc backpedals out, fades away to Hickey, trying to get Kirk moving. Nice positioning though by the goaltender. And Burns will get rid of it as the offense for the Black Wolves is on. There's Kyle Buchanan. He has 1 goal tonight, along with O'Connor. O'Connor, so physical, bouncer. Off the mark, high rebound, taken by Magnuson.
Yeah, that looked like the play that led to a goal by O'Connor.
Yeah.
Just that shot didn't work there.
There's Chapman with a screen, and the ball did not get through. Blocked by the defense, now going to Littner. Littner winding, weaving, and Kirk hugging that post. Another opportunity. And the ball is up and over the glass.
And Toronto gets the ball back.
The pace of this game has been something else. There's Dan Littner. And Littner's been getting opportunity after opportunity. You feel he's ready to bust through.
Well, you
Littner
get the
behind
feeling
him.
the Rock, they're all seem to be aiming for that top corner.
Yeah. I think they found something there. Whoa. And Kieran McCardle getting hammered. Somehow comes out the other side. McCarley has a couple assists tonight. Littner gives it to Schreiber. Schreiber backpedaling alone. The block, waits, and Kirk didn't bite on any of the fakes. And that could have been a game breaker.
But great vision by Schreiber. You know, finds Steph LeBlanc, and that's one of the things about Schreiber. He's got so much to his game. He's multi-dimensional.
Over and back, Buchanan couldn't get to it in time. And we'll have our first break of the third quarter. 10-6, Rock up on New England. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV. Play back underway here at the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. 9:12 to go in the third quarter. Rock up 10-6 and have the ball right now. Schreiber to Hickey. Stoned by Kirk. Big rebound collected by the New England defense, though. There's Burns. Waits for some help. He'll toss and head to the bench. There's Culp. Alone on the right side. Waits. The point. Scores! A quick give and go. Nicely done by the Black Wolves, who pulled to within 3.
Was that Sean Evans scoring his first of the game?
And we were calling it. You just have to wait, only a matter of time.
Well, you said it. A quick give and go. Evans just cuts down the middle around his teammate and releases that shot as soon as he catches it.
And Shindy, just a second later, if he held on even a half second, a double team was coming.
Oh yeah, and you can't say it's, he was pointless to this point. Not because of anything he has or hasn't been doing. I mean, Toronto has been all over him.
Yeah. He took advantage of that 1 second that he was left free. Here's Schreiber. Can't leave this guy alone either. Schreiber has a hat trick tonight. Schreiber. Up top, spinning.
Oh my God.
Oh! That could be goal of the year. Oh my! Schreiber to Littner, who spun and it trickled in past Kirk. I can't wait to see this one again. Oh, wow.
Well, you got to be lucky to be good, and I think this was part lucky. Let's watch it again.
Gee. It was like the hit spun him around almost.
Well, it's like he had no choice because where the hit came from. But there's no question that was an attempted shot, but there's also no question that he wasn't as surprised as we were that ball went in.
If you're Evan Kirk, what can you do? You can't do anything with that. And the Black Wolves try to come right back. That could have been goal of the year right there, folks. My goodness. All right, 8 minutes to go. We've seen everything in this game. And we still have a long way to go. Toronto's retaking a 4-goal lead. Back to neutral zone for Hickey. Putting his shoulder down was LeBlanc. Pushed back out to the wing. Underneath. Tiptoe along that crease and he scores! Free Reinhold on the feed from LeBlanc. And it's 12-7 Toronto.
And this is just a breakdown on defense that Reinhold cashes in on. It's a two-man game, pick and roll, and just sort of a sloppy play. New England switches, and there's no reaction to cover Reinhold, who threw the original pick, turns to the net, nobody follows him.
And Shanny, nicely done by LeBlanc to push in, draw the D out a little bit, and allow Reinhold to sneak in behind. That was the 41st shot for Toronto.
A great job by Toronto, but the New England coaches will hate that. That's pick and roll. You see from the time you're probably playing Pee Wee lacrosse over and over again, you'll learn how to defend against that.
Buchanan there took a wild shot. Kevin Buchanan got his own rebound, took another shot, and that time didn't get it back.
Here we go again, Roger fans. We gave you those towels for a reason tonight, right?
There's Casey Beers on the left side. Hickey tries to move to the low post. Toronto's cycling the ball. 11 to shoot. LeBlanc went in behind Littner.
The pass was off there, but Littner found himself just as open as Reinhold was.
Littner chopped at Joel Coyle, knocked his stick away. There's Muir. This New England team very good now, but also set up nicely for the future with Oak, Spanger, and Muir on the team as rookies. Drop to the point for Buchanan. In behind you, diving. They give it to O'Connor. Just ran out of real estate there, but quality attempt. And Edwards smashed his man, trying to catch the number there. That was Evans. Slow to get up. Buchanan went for the short side. Miller was hugging that post. Flicks in behind Magnuson. Magnuson galloping up the floor. Magnuson gives, goes. Kirk says no. Reinhold went for another.
Huge save by Kirk, but New England can't be giving up these kind of plays that they keep giving Toronto wide open scoring chances. Kirk is keeping it close.
Yeah, outside of maybe one, I wouldn't blame Kirk on any of these. O'Connor Falling off of the Toronto defender. In behind Harris with a one-hander. Harris sprinting and saved by Kirk. Went right on. Juicy rebound. Black Wolves there to gobble it up. But what a pass taken by Harris in behind with one hand.
Well, Toronto's transition has been great. They haven't scored every time, but they've got 5 or 6 goals already, and a lot more chances than that.
New England trying to push. Culp couldn't thread the needle there. Trying for the loose ball in the near boards. He'll just have to swat it as the shot clock hits 0.
It's a rock ball. I think we need to give a left to the Rock defense.
43-30, shots in favor of the Rock. Toronto slowing the pace a little bit here. Under 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. There's Hickey. Left side. Snap pass. Behrens. Backdoor specialist. Didn't fool Kirk there. Vintage Casey Behrens. Muir almost running into his own man there. The box. You can't take your eyes off of number 26.
No, as we saw earlier, he's not afraid to shoot from anywhere.
Bad angles, right side, wrong side, doesn't matter. In New England,
good
take it back on a bit of
defense.
a run. Whoa, that was a long, hard shot by Crowley. And talk about a guy who can score anywhere. The power of Kevin Crowley. And Billy Hostrauser slammed to the turf. Crown brings it up though, and it will be New England ball. And we will take our second break of the third quarter. 4:06 to go. Toronto leads New England 12-7.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
He's got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Back at the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto, 12-7. The Rock lead the New England Black Wolves. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan in the East semifinal. Single game elimination here, Shanny.
Yeah, you know, I think the way Evan Kirk's been playing the last 5 minutes, that's the only reason Toronto has not expanded this lead by a few more goals.
He's kept them in it, and we know for New England, they definitely have the firepower to close the gap and do it quickly. They've already done it in this game. John Rogers diving, but he was in the crease.
Yeah, he just ran out of room there.
And the Black Wolves coming back for Toronto. You don't want to be sloppy for the Black Wolves. Still plenty of time. You want to maybe be a little more aggressive. A turnover. Here come the Rock. There's Jesse Gamble, who has scored tonight at Magnuson. He'll hold it.
Yeah, Jesse Gamble got that ball, thought he had a breakaway, but a player stepped off the New England bench, so they just only had 4 guys on the floor, so luckily for New England, they had a defender in his way.
Here's Brett Hickey. High pass that ricochets off the glass. High fly ball, and Toronto gets it. A one-hand toss just to get it away before the shot clock hits 0.
Toronto shot clock violation, New England ball.
3 minutes even left in the third quarter. And trying to go back door with Crowley.
And Brody Merrill's played tremendous.
Yeah.
That was him making sure Crowley wasn't catching that ball.
Damon Edwards with Littner. Stutter step by Littner. Has Cree with him. Stefan LeBlanc now makes his way onto the floor. Reed Reinhold also. 9 on the shot clock. Reinhold, one hand, being pressed by Sutton. For a bouncer, and it will be an over and back ball for New England.
Over and back violation against Toronto. New England ball.
Let's see what the Black Wolves can do here. O'Connor playing catch with Buchanan. Whoa, that's going to be a penalty. Yeah, you saw O'Connor's head snap. Evan Kirk.
Yep, and the key is, and I don't think it will be, you want to make sure it's not a 5-minute penalty.
Yeah, going high to the head. So New England will be headed to the power play as Miller makes a stop.
Oh, it's called a slash, so he'll be safe. It'll just be 2 minutes.
Montreal Harris.
Toronto number 93, 2 minutes, slasher.
Yeah, you saw O'Connor's head kind of snap back
Well,
twice.
he definitely did the head pop.
Yeah.
But I'm not always sold on that, and
Right.
I think it was legit here, but as we've seen in the NHL,
You can sell a little bit, right? Embellish.
I don't like that, and I don't think I think this was a legitimate penalty. He did take a stick to the head.
Buchanan, and that went off of Gilbert's leg. It's going to leave a welt. O'Connor here pressing, sends behind the net, moving that ball well. Sidearm shot, rattles off the boards, and Toronto comes up with it. Here come the Rock. A one-on-one, and Brody Merrill.
Yeah, Brody Merrill again. I mean, he's been a loose ball vacuum. He has been his whole career.
Veteran savvy.
You know, he led the NLL in loose balls by non-face-off guys. You know,
Yeah.
you have to take them out of that category because they're picking them all up. But just tremendous.
Last minute of play in the third. And Shriver looking for a shorthanded goal. Toronto has 6 shorthanded goals this year.
Yeah, not a huge threat,
No.
shorthanded.
40 seconds left. The Black Wolves would love to get one before this quarter ends to get some of that momentum back.
Oh, they're just looking a little nervous
Yeah.
right now.
Clutching a little bit too tight, perhaps. Kevin Buchanan. Crowley was calling for it. And Brandon Miller, outlet pass. A lob to Damon Edwards. Edwards plants, and the stick was knocked as he got it away. And there's O'Brien. Crisply sent to Evans on the bounce. Sean Evans. 13 seconds left on the power play. Oh, behind the back whip. Off the mark, though. 2 seconds left. And that'll do it for the third quarter. When the fourth starts, the Black Wolves will have it 6 seconds left on the power play. 12-6, Toronto leads New England. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
This past NLL season was incredible. It was exciting. It was jam-packed with amazing goals.
Here's Miles Thompson, puts it back and scores!
Incredible saves.
Carlson with absolute robbery on.
And huge games.
And he ends it. Vancouver is going home for the playoffs.
And if you don't have your subscription to NLLTV.com, you're going to miss out on all of that action during the 2018 season. And can you imagine if your group of friends is sitting there talking about the greatest plays from the night before and you're the only one to not have your subscription? You're going to be missing out.
Don't be that person. Make sure to head on over to the NLL website to get your subscription today to make sure, well, you're part of that conversation and also to make sure that you don't miss a minute of 2018.
I've got mine. She's got hers. Get yours today.
Come on now. Want a little heat?
Yeah.
Here we go. On 3. Boom. Drop it.
One more quarter to go. 12-7. Toronto leads in New England in the East semifinal at the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. The winner will head off to face the Georgia Swarm starting next week. What a game it has been. We have seen great saves, highlight reel goals. And we still have 15 minutes to go here.
Yeah, and if you think this is all over, look at the game sheet from last week between New England and Vancouver.
Yep.
Vancouver was up 15-11. 5 minutes into the fourth quarter, New England scored 6 in a row. So this is an explosive team that can score in bunches.
Oh, and they're trying for right there. Brandon Miller stood tall. New England looking for one early as the penalty expires, and we're back to even strength. It was a slash to Latrell Harris. Had 6 seconds left to start the quarter. And you see the Black Wolves pressing now. Evans, his shot was redirected. Sean Evans again. He hasn't scored 5 consecutive 100-point seasons for no reason. He's going to start turning things up. He has 1 goal tonight. Black Wolves in their white, black, and orange uniforms. Weaving, winding, Miller. Another nice stop.
And Miller is on. Just allowing 2 goals since he came in.
That's right.
Late in the first half.
44-36, Rock up in the shot category. Kieran McCardle splits the deep. McCardle lost the ball at the last second. Him and Tom Schreiber travel with one another from Long Island, New York, up to practice and games. Didn't know each other, knew of each other, but didn't know each other before this season. Neither had played box lacrosse. What has turned out to be a very successful experiment for the Toronto Rock, getting these 2 Americans on board. Crowley let that sidearm delivery go. Bounce off the glass, here comes Toronto. And we can quick off the bench though. And Damon Edwards will hold it. Wait, he'll creep in, and going over the top, right into the pads of Evan Kirk. Long outlet pass. Taken in stride by Reed. Reed hustled up the floor. Reed went high and off the mark. Here's Gilbert. We're off to the races again here. And back and forth, Jeff Gilbert now.
It's turning into a bit of a track meet.
Yeah. There's Reed Reinhold on the near side. Cross floor pass. Clicks. Spinning, firing, count it. Stefan LeBlanc off his back foot. Makes it 13-7 Toronto.
And this is reminiscent of the first goal that opened the game, won by Beerns, Casey Beerns. This time, Steph LeBlanc is standing in the same spot. And watch what he does. As soon as he gets it, he takes that quick shot. Evan Kirk is not set for it because LeBlanc shoots so quickly.
And assist goes to Brett Hickey. Off the face-off, Black Wolves get it. And now the urgency is going to start to kick in for New England. 12.5 minutes left in the fourth. Oh, Buchanan tripped up there. No call, the Rock coming back the other way, 2-on-2. That's Latrell Harris with him. There's Chapman. Listen to the captain, Brody Merrill. Puts his hand up to slow it down. Right into the mesh of McCardle. McCardle waits. Left wing, someone lost a glove. And shot clock hit 0. And Crowley jogging up the floor. Oh. That was a snapshot. Goes into the New England bench. Toronto ball, there's Jesse Gamble. Gamble, 3-on-2, Gamble, dishes, and Kirk slides over. And there's Muir.
Kirk is giving his team a chance.
Oh, he is, yeah. The problem tonight for New England certainly has not been the goaltender. Black Wolves, too far.
A few too many plays like this.
Yeah, over and back. Whoa, a little hip check there. Evans on Brody Merrill, kind of ran into him. LeBlanc backpedaling, receives on the right wing. LeBlanc puts that shoulder down, plants toe, save by Kirk. Oh, and Stephen LeBlanc was looking to take a guy out and miss.
That was a nice play by Thornburg.
Yeah.
Not to get knocked down by LeBlanc and to get that ground ball.
Evans with the dish. Tiptoeing along that crease. Miller swings wildly. What a stop. Long pass and too far from Gilbert. O'Brien on Gilbert.
Hey, we've been giving a lot of credit to Evan Kirk, and he's been playing great, but Miller has been fantastic. Yeah. Brandon Miller in the Toronto net hasn't played much this year. He's playing as well as I've seen him play.
Since relieving Nick Rose, Kieran McCardle. And McCardle looking around, didn't like what he saw there. Have to be careful, don't want to take a penalty. Whoa, hold on now, Zach Reed and Kieran McCardle.
Okay.
All right, they say, let's go, baby. McCardle swinging, working the jab. McCardle the haymaker. Reed gets back up, he's jerseyed. Reed can't get free, tries to hook an uppercut. McCardle has him down. Then lays a couple more blows. And the Air Canada center comes alive. And there's McCardle. He's jacked.
I did not see that one coming.
McCardle not known really to throw down, but hey, he shows he can hang in there. I'd give the decision there to number 6.
I would too, but I don't think it matters the spirit that he showed there, that it's a compete level.
Some hammer fists and uppercuts, wow. Don't get to call as many fights as we used to, Shannon, but that was a good one.
A very spirited, spontaneous fight. Those are the ones I like.
Yeah. Yeah, the non-orchestrated ones.
It's not orchestrated.
Yeah.
It's not a couple of guys that fight for a living.
Yeah.
It's two guys that just sort of lost their temper. And by the style of those punches, I don't think anyone got hurt.
No. And Crowley with a long shot. Miller saw it all. Maybe for the Black Wolves, it's something to try to get them snapped out of the funk that they're in. Rock with the ball here, Stephen LeBlanc. O'Brien on him.
Now Billy O'Brien is a different guy when it comes to fighting.
The big boy. Whoa. And Reinhold went down as he was hit with the pass. Toronto still kept it. And Tom Schreiber. And it will be Rock ball when we come back after the break. Do not go anywhere. The Rock with the Black Wolves 13-7. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
That's impossible.
Final verses of the 2017 regular season. We got a goaltender challenger up against Miles Thompson, the 4-time champ. One-handed, behind-the-back shot, beats Alex Bouquet. That one's been our champ for a while. Here is the challenger. Tyler Carlson reaches back, and with 25 seconds left on the clock in the 2017 regular season, makes the save of the year. So who do you have? Miles Thompson, the champ? Or do you have Tyler Carlson, the challenger? Head to Twitter now, cast your vote.
If you're a player looking for a lightweight head that delivers power and control, string up the Under Armour Command Low.
9:36 left in the fourth quarter at the ACC in Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. We have had a night so far, and there's so much left to go still. Great save by Evan Kirk. Rock lead at 13-7 in the single elimination East semifinal. There's Burns. Wisely waits for reinforcements. 50 shots for Toronto to 39 for New England. Back to Evans. And that was a bullet right into the belly of Brandon Miller. For Reed Reinhold, catching it over his left shoulder.
And Toronto looks like they're being a little more judicious about whether they take the ball to the net or not on the transition. See, Brody Merrill is staying back beside Sean Evans, who is staying on the floor up near Brandon Miller.
Just in case. Now, Evans is a game breaker, as we know, has been for many years. Whoa! And that was kind of looked like a bit of a throwaway shot. Tom Schreiber off the back foot nonchalantly scores his fourth of the night.
Yeah, almost just wanting to get a shot away because the shot clock was winding down. And this is what you and I have seen from Schreiber all year. He makes a play that looks like nothing, turns into a goal. And those type of plays are backbreakers at this point in the game.
14-7 now. And with Tom Schreiber continues his excellent regular season into the playoffs. And the Black Wolves need to start taking some chances. Down by 7. There's Burns and Evan Kirk coming out of the goal. Extra attacker going to be on for New England. And that went in behind the net. Brandon Miller will run out.
And Brandon Miller widely didn't bother trying for an empty net. Maybe you do that in the last minute, but at this point, eat up the 30 seconds. Yep. We actually saw Saskatchewan about a month ago against this team. Trying to go, Aaron Bold trying to go for an empty net, missing, and
I can't tie it up.
New England came back to tie up the game.
Yeah. Reed Reinhold. Nicely handled by the New England defense. There's Kevin Crowley, the big daddy. And scores! Crowley to Evans. And that's the type of thing Sean Evans can do. Score at any moment and try to start a late rally here.
And just to let our fans know, this New England team was in Saskatchewan a few weeks back, down by 3 goals with just a couple of minutes left. With their goaltender pulled, they scored 3 goals to tie it up. Yeah. So in their minds, you know, they're thinking, hey, if we can get this within 2 or 3 in the last few minutes, maybe we can get some magic.
Oh, sure. And they can do it. Evans at 103 points, Crowley at 85, the Buchanans 85 and 74 off the backboards. Another shot by Miller, big rebounds, and that one is collected by Toronto.
You know, on the other side of the coin, Toronto's going to be trying to eat up 30 seconds just every possession. They're going to try to be careful, make sure they don't give up any transitions. They're going to try to manage this game.
7:08 left. Here's Hickey, gives to LeBlanc, scoots in, and scores! LeBlanc bounced off 2 defenders, went 5-hole, and the Rock are in full control, 15-8.
I said Schreiber's was a backbreaker. This is a backbreaker too. Just late in the shot clock, 2 guys on him. LeBlanc just powers his way to the net, not even to the net, powers his way through 2 players, gets just enough room to get that shot away. Every goal at this point is huge.
And Shanny, you mentioned how close New England has kept things all year and really battled back 9 times a New England game was decided by 1 goal. 2 of them were versus the Rock.
And they just made a goaltending change.
Oh, Doug Jamieson in.
They put in Jamieson. Now, the only thing I don't understand this is that Jamieson is not a runner. I'm looking for his weight here, but I know he's one of the heavier players.
So as far as going to the bench for the extra attacker.
Oh.
And there you go. Jay
Thornburg off the face-off. Probably the best face-off man in the NLL just takes that straight off the face-off, a little bit sloppy from Toronto's point of view.
Scampered in and buried it. Shanny coming in from the regular season, he took 525 draws and won 57.5% of them. They're two of the best in the biz, him and Cree, going toe-to-toe tonight.
Jamison is making his way up the floor so they can play a 6-on-5. Yeah, 245 pounds, so he's not exactly a sprinter.
No. High shot off the backboards. Toronto came up with it. And now it's an empty net. And there's Brody Merrill, scores! Empty netter for the captain. Second of the game. And it's 16-9 Toronto.
And I don't think New England was even thinking about trying to get the goalie back on at this point. It's all or nothing for them.
Yeah. It's 6:31 to go.
I mean, the only thing going right for New England is that there's still 6.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, there is still time. And in most sports, Shanny, you're down by this deficit, you think, all right, come on, guys, it's over. Not so. It really isn't. Rock being pinned. That's Magnuson, double teamed. Not sure who has the ball here. Nobody does, still loose in front of the Toronto bench. Coyle in on it with New England. The Rock challenge. Rogers somehow came up with it. No, he's rumbling up. Oh, and actually it was New England who got it after Rogers. Sheldon Burns snapped the head back, trying to draw a penalty. Didn't work. There's Crowley left wing. Crowley with some space. Lowered that shoulder. Great angle, but Miller got the left leg in the way. Gamble turned invisible for him, then to get by the defender.
In the empty
net back. Gamble waits, ran out, and scores. Jameson got back and gave it to Jeff Gilbert. Showing some soft hands by the defender.
And I thought Gamble could have probably put that in himself, but he didn't see the empty net once he got close. The space had closed up and he made the right move.
And Shanny, that is the 10th different goal scorer for the Toronto Rock tonight. 17-9. And Oakes trying to get by Cree. Oakes lost his stick and his shoe. He'll pick it up and go to the bench. 55-44. Shots in the Rock's favor. They have peppered Evan Kirk and now Doug Jamieson. There's Stephen LeBlanc walking in. LeBlanc using that physicality, went short side. Jamieson.
And a huge pickup for Toronto. They'll get to kill another 30 seconds. And as we were saying earlier, that's what it's all about now.
Yeah.
Eat up 30 seconds every time you get the ball.
Off the back door, Littner, and Jamieson went down to a knee. There's Bucktooth. He has one tonight. I went wide. Miller lost track of it. Scooping up the ball.
And Evans is going to get a penalty, Sean Evans.
And Jeff Gilbert. So, Brandon Miller goes to the bench. Slowly for the extra man. 12 on the shot clock. And Hickey's offering gets tied up with Muir. And we'll see what this call is.
I think it'll be roughing Sean Evans. It's a little bit of the frustration.
For this week's Unstrung Hero, a player who may not have chipped in on the score sheet, but contributed to his team's successes in some other ways. So for the last one of the regular season, tell me who you got.
Well, I also have a player that contributed very much so for the Vancouver Stealth and their success this entire season. I feel like I've picked him a lot, but he's just had some amazing performances throughout the course of the 2017 season. So once again, My unsung hero for this week is Ty Belanger. You speak about what Corey Small was able to do on the front end. How about what Ty Belanger was able to do on the back end? 66 saves in this game. 82 shots on goal. So he was just making a huge performance. Yes, this was a high-scoring game. Yes, he did allow 16 goals to the New England Black Wolves, but he stood up to the challenge when it really mattered in overtime. Both of these teams were playing with a lot on the line, both of them fighting for home floor advantage. And Ty Belanger's performance and how he was able to step up when it really mattered in overtime really helped the Vancouver Stealth. And he's been a huge part of why they've made it to the postseason and why they have home floor advantage in the postseason. So congrats to Ty Belanger on the performance this week.
He's got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Went into the pads of Doug Jamieson. Pass got in behind Manny. He's not going to pick it. Whoa, Manny trying to tie up Bierns. Little wrap around. .58 shots. The Rock have peppered on New England tonight. .08 to kill for New England, short-staffed. Going right on and scores off the rebound. Casey Bierns took the Schreiber shot off the pads of Jamieson and popped it in for number 18 on the night.
And if Toronto's looking for other positives in the night, they're perfect on their power play, 3 for 3, and this one's just an easy one. That rebound popped in nicely to one of the guys with the softest hands in that area of the game. Casey Bierns.
Now 3 minutes left, 60 shots for Toronto. Wow. And Shanny, this was anybody's game into the second quarter when New England at one point led 6-5 after overcoming a 2-0 deficit early.
Yes. Toronto has outscored New England 13-3 in the second half.
Wow. Yeah, they had that 9-6 lead going into halftime.
And you know, Andy, a week ago, it didn't look like Toronto was going to get a home game to start the playoffs.
No,
now,
you're right.
We know they're going to win this one and get a second home game next week.
That's right. And they will face the Georgia Swarm. Saw some of their coaches and scouts in attendance tonight, taking this in. And what a series that is going to be.
Yeah, both games against Georgia have gone to overtime.
Oh. Interesting question, Shanny, will be, is it Brandon Miller in net, or do they go back to Nick Rose?
I think you have to go with Brandon Miller now.
And what a regular season Nick Rose had, led the league in goals against average, but in the playoffs.
And I don't think it's a slight on Nick Rose. I think it's for what Brandon Miller has done.
Yeah. And there's always the luxury, you can go back to the other guy.
I think he's taken away the choice. He's played that well.
Right.
So it's not because Nick Rose wasn't playing well. I don't think Rose was really taken out because they thought he was having a bad game. I think they just thought, you know, make a change.
Yeah.
They appeared to be trading goals. They've been letting a couple that weren't great, but if Miller had not come in and did what he did, they would have been going back to Rose.
Oh, sure. And Miller let up, what, 3, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think 4. I think it was 5.
It was 5
when he went in. I'm not positive, but I think it was 5 at the time.
Last minute of play, and the fans here at the Air Canada Centre are on their feet as the season for the New England Black Wolves will come to an end, and the Rock will continue their playoff hopes and face the Georgia Swarm as there's a whistle with some shoving. 43 seconds left. Sean Evans back to the box, this time with Latrell Harris.
Yeah, Nick Rose only allowed 5 goals, so it's not like it was bad. I believe it was 5-4 when he was pulled.
And then, then 6-5 New England was up. He's been all rock since then. And one of the keys, Shanny, I think, has been Sean Evans for the most part.
Well, Toronto's done a great job, and just 2 goals.
2 goals. And some guys, 2 goals is a great night. For a guy with 103 points, that's holding him in check. Jesse Gamble. Using
But
that
even,
speed and
what
footwork.
they've done, their whole defensive game, I mean, they were trading goals in that first quarter. 6-5 the first quarter. Toronto shut them out in the second quarter.
And we will be back with you next Saturday night when it will be the Georgia Swarm coming to town. 10 seconds left. The fans are on their feet, waving the rally rags.
Sheldon Burns actually scores a late goal. I don't think Brandon Miller was set for that. I don't know if anybody on the floor actually cares. The only thing they care about is it stop the clock and they got to go up for another face-off.
And just went in, so that is the 10th goal for the Black Wolves, so 18-10. But a nice year for New England, I think, Shanny, to build on. You certainly have your goaltender in Evan Kirk. You got star power. You got some great rookies. And the future is bright for the Black Wolves. But in the present, it's the Toronto Rock. And it is over. The Rock win it 18-10 over New England. And will head to the East Final to face the Georgia Swarm. What a game, what a win, and what an East Final we have coming up, Shanny.
Oh, it should be exciting. As I said, 2 games against Georgia this year, both went into overtime. Georgia winning here at the ACC, Toronto winning down in Georgia, and the series opens in Toronto next week.
That's right. So it goes Toronto, then Georgia, and if it's tied at 1 after that, the 10-minute.
They go in overtime, yeah. So it's
mini match.
I guess you kind of call it a 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And where the third game is really just a sudden death overtime.
So there you go. This game, Shanny, I've said it a couple times already, but had everything. We had a fight, some great saves. We had possibly the goal of the year, Dan Littner. Well, behind the, but certainly for in this building, goal of the year.
Yeah, you're right. We did have it all, and
I'm sure
there was some great goaltending on both sides. I thought Evan Kirk, Toronto eventually pulled away.
Yeah.
But I would give him the credit for why Toronto didn't pull away.
Oh, sure.
A quarter ago. It wasn't till halfway through the fourth quarter that it became obvious Toronto was going to win this game. But they were getting so many chances, and I guess New England was getting a little desperate and just trading chances. But Evan Kirk gave his team a chance. And that's what you want to do.
And really, the difference started to come. The exchanging pretty much stopped once Nick Rose was pulled. Brandon Miller went in, and as you said, Shanny, not so much a knock on Nick Rose, but a credit to Brandon Miller out most of this season.
There was times where it just looked like they weren't going to score another goal on Brandon Miller. There was times in this game where it looked like he couldn't be beat. Kevin Crowley, the way the game started, it looked like Kevin Crowley was going to score 5 or 6 goals, but then he wasn't able to get one past Brandon Miller.
No, and you have, from the Rock standpoint, Tom Schreiber doing what he's done all year and leading the way with 4 goals, had some helpers, and we've seen number 26, we've seen Captain America Shanny develop from a setup man to a goal scorer to a complete player all in 1 year.
Yeah, but it's not just that he's got 4 goals. Like his goals, his timing of his goals is so important. There was a number of times where his goals were a quick response to a New England goal and managed to maybe stop the bleeding. And what's amazing about his goals sometimes is they seem to be plays where there's nothing there, and he just gets that rifle quick release shot away to say, holy cow, like
How's he do it?
Nothing was being set up. Like the other guys were going back to get the defense on, and he just takes that, I better take a shot. The 30-second shot clock's winding down. I'll take a shot, and he scores. Yeah, he's got an amazing talent. And
with next to no windup, that's what's so impressive. It's not the plant, and he's got that extra power in his shot. It's that you can't even tell it's coming most of the time.
It's definitely, like we were saying, it's wrist. It's like a wrist snap. He takes his shots, just a quick shot with tons of velocity on it.
Now, when you look at the Black Wolves, again, like I said, the future's bright for New England. For Black Wolves fans, you're going to be okay. This was, you have, I think, the pieces in place.
Yeah,
the rookies coming.
Although I still think it was a step back. Like last year, they had a fantastic season. They got Sean Evans. He did what Sean Evans always does. And, they came, I think it was within overtime of beating Buffalo. They won the first round. They beat out Georgia. They went to Buffalo, and if I'm not mistaken, they lost in overtime. But regardless, it was a tight series.
Yeah.
So, they were very close to going to the finals themselves. So I think it was a step back. But I think, much like Buffalo, it was because of a bad start. New England lost their first 3 games of the season, and I think that hurt them. Every time it looked like they were going to go on a good run, they stumbled, but they showed flashes of brilliance. And you're right, they've got a lot of talent, especially on the offense. I think their offense is great. Their goaltending is good. I think they might have had a few holes defensively this year, but still, they're not a team that has to rebuild.
No, it's more of a retooling.
Yeah.
And for the Rock, I think, Shanny, there's something to be said on how you finish the year. The Rock lost 4 in a row, won that last game in Buffalo, and really proved to themselves again they can win. They can win and carry that over.
And you know what? I think with the Rock is when they play their game, when they play with discipline, the smarts, they're a great team. When they're not good enough to have sloppy games and keep winning.
Right.
They're not good enough to have an off game and win. But when they focus on their game, stay out of the penalty box, make the smart decisions, play tough defense, they're a very, very good team.
Yeah.
And they're well coached. Matt Sawyer, he knows how to put a game plan together. And I think coming into a game like this, they were prepared. They all knew they had to focus, and it worked for them. And I think they're one of those teams that's quite capable of winning any game, any given game. So I am sure that regardless of what their record is, Georgia is not taking Toronto for granted.
They can't. And because when they've played each other this season too, Toronto has hung with Georgia, and we've seen them absolutely destroy some teams with back-to-back 21-goal games. That offense is electric.
Yeah, and you also got to think that, one thing that Georgia has to be concerned about is the reputation of the Toronto Rock, from their history in this league. They've won 6 championships. They've been to the finals a few extra times on top of that. And, Georgia's a relatively young team.
Sure.
I mean, they've had a great season. They've got great talent. But you do have to get over that hump. And I'm sure some guys will be thinking this is the Toronto Rock. Like, what magic do they still have? Because there's a lot of faces on this Toronto team who have won a number of championships, and they know how to win.
And they'll be in hostile territory at the Air Canada Center.
They sure will.
Well, that was the East semifinal. The East final next Saturday at the Air Canada Center. Make sure, stay tuned to NLL TV as well as NLL.com all through the week. We'll set it all up for you. Shanny, what a great match. Hey, we'll do it again next week.
Excellent. We're going to come back and do it again. That'll be a lot of fun.
18-10 final score. The Rock win it. So for Brian Shanahan, for producer Sean, I'm Andy McNamara. Rock win it 18-10 over New England. You've been watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.